First of all, I would like to thank Lord Farmer for calling this debate. And I would also like to point out that I'm actually quite disappointed that so few people are here to speak on what I think is such an important issue. But, my lords, I welcome the government's reform to help families resolve disputes faster and protect children from lengthy court cases. The programme of measures allowing separating parents to get information, support and early legal advice will no doubt help parents reach an amicable settlement without going to court. It would also alleviate pressure on family courts and free up time for families who really need the court's intervention. One of the most pressing issues facing separating families is the time it takes from when the application is lodged to the first hearing and the subsequent proceedings. I can't pronounce it. Lengthy proceedings are not only detrimental to parents' relationships with each other, but they also deeply affect children. Research has consistently shown that children suffer profoundly when their parents' relationship breaks down. Responsible parents will try and ensure the healthy development of their children, which includes regular contact with both parents and their extended family. Sadly, this is not always the case, and the longer the proceedings, the more likelihood for parents to become entrenched in their position, often egged on by their lawyers, who focus rather on winning than resolving the case quickly. As tensions rise, some parents will, consciously or not, transfer their anger and resentment onto the child. These children will thus find themselves caught in the middle of an ongoing war between the two people they love and need most. Most children will seek the road of least resistance, and rather than facing the consequences of speaking out, they will simply become the mouthpiece of that parents. The process of turning a child against the other parent can happen particularly quickly if the non-resident parent is denied or has limited access to the child. I speak from experience. It only took after 3.5 months under the father's exclusive control for my eldest son, aged 9, to greet me with kicks and punches the first time he saw me again in a German court. It is therefore essential that children's fundamental right to maintain a relationship with both parents is maintained, bar, of course, exceptional circumstances, but I'm not talking about those. The longer the non-resident parent is absent, the more the damage to the relationship. Could my noble friend the Minister, therefore, consider introducing a time limit requirement for dealing with family court proceedings, similar to the statutory limit of 26 weeks for public case proceedings? And would he consider providing clear guidance on court-ordered interim contact, even if it needs to be supervised, to counter the negative effect of delay? It is also clear that all adults, whether female or male, who are victims of domestic abuse must be protected by law. All claims must be considered, particularly as some can be life-threatening for the victims and even their children. I applaud the work which has been done not only to highlight this issue, but also to ensure better protection for victims, many of whom live in fear of their lives. But 15 years ago, domestic abuse was only raised in a minority of cases. Today, it is raised 80% of the cases. Clearly, these claims lead to lengthy proceedings, to involvement of the police, as well as other agencies, but it also to more children finding themselves caught in the middle of serious allegations and counter-allegations concerning their parents. I would therefore like to ask the Minister whether he believes that this is the result of a more violent society, or whether it is the positive reflection of victims feeling that they can finally be protected, or whether some of those claims may be the consequence of the LASPO Act 2012, which removed the right to legal aid in family courts unless there was an allegation of domestic abuse, or simply because of a lack of sanction for making false allegation, which may have become a tactic to deny contact to the non-resident parent. And can the Minister tell this House whether the pathfinding project has resulted in accusation of domestic abuse being dealt promptly, thus avoiding further trauma to the victims, and whether the pathfinding hearings in which parents are pitted against each other haven't put children under unduly pressure. Kafka's officers are experienced in recognizing whether a child's view is genuine or not. But can my noble friend the Minister tell this House whether the family court judges have received proper training to recognize whether the voice of a child is truly his and not the result of pressure by one of his parents? The truth is that children are not necessarily the best placed to speak about what is in their best interest. Some will not be able to express their own views, either because they have been coerced, or because they feel guilty, or because they are scared of the consequences of speaking out, while others will be indoctrinated that they may generally believe that they were, for example, sexually abused. While I warmly welcome the government's commitment to safeguarding the well-being of children caught in the crossfire of parental discord, I would also like to put on the record that parental alienation, the coercive control of children by one parent against the other, does exist. I have raised this in this House several times, and I was not alone. Children are vulnerable, and they can easily be used as weapons, whether by a mother or by a father. Some do so subconsciously, but others do so for their own interest, while it is actually and ultimately the child who pays the price. I know what I'm talking about. I have lived through this experience, and through the charity I have run, I have seen many cases, and I have also seen children who have been affected and seen the long-term consequences on those children. So please listen to what I have to say, and do not only listen to others who think they know best, but they feel to me that it is a vendetta of men versus women. This is about children.